Chosen one, lock your attention on what I'm about to say. That restless feeling you can't shake, like you're missing something critical but you can't name it. It stops here. I know the last few weeks have felt like you're running in circles. Maybe you've been staring at your phone at 2 in the morning, scrolling through other people's success stories, wondering why nothing you touch feels like it fits. Or maybe you sat in that meeting yesterday nodding and smiling, but inside you felt like you were suffocating because none of it mattered. Some of you drove home in complete silence this week, gripping the steering wheel, feeling that familiar ache of knowing you're capable of something bigger, but having no idea what it is. The enemy has been working overtime to keep you confused for one reason only. He knows what happens the moment you discover your singular assignment. It all ends today. The confusion, the restlessness, the feeling like you're wasting time. But here's what you need to understand. It's not ending because you finally figured it out. It's ending because God is tired of watching you suffer in the maze He never put you in. Think back to that moment this week when everyone else was celebrating something that felt empty to you. When you smiled and clapped, but inside you felt nothing. You thought something was wrong with you. You thought you were being ungrateful or difficult. You weren't broken. You were being protected. Your spirit was rejecting the counterfeit because it recognizes the authentic assignment waiting for you. You did not stumble across this message by chance. The algorithm didn't serve this to you because of your search history. The Holy Spirit interrupted your day because this is the appointed time for your calling to be revealed. In the next few minutes, I'm going to expose the singular job God placed in your spirit before the foundations of the earth. I'm going to show you why every distraction you've encountered was specifically designed to pull you away from this one thing. And at the end, I'm going to give you the declaration that activates what's been dormant in your spirit for years. Do not click away. The version of you that's been praying for purpose is about to meet the assignment that's been searching for you. You feel lost right now because you've been trying to build a life around multiple purposes when God only gave you one. And in this confusion, the enemy has been whispering a very specific lie. He's telling you that your assignment is complicated, that it requires years of preparation, that you need more skills, more connections, more resources. He's replaying every moment you felt unqualified, every time someone else got the opportunity, every door that closed in your face, every time you started something and couldn't finish it. The accuser is telling you that because you haven't figured it out yet, you've missed your window and God has moved on to someone else. But I need you to hear what the scripture actually says about this moment. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." Listen to that promise. A time to every purpose, not purposes plural, purpose singular. God didn't scatter your attention across a dozen assignments. He concentrated your entire existence into one divine mandate. The complexity you feel isn't because your assignment is complicated. It's because you've been trying to force yourself into assignments that were never yours. The restlessness is not punishment. It's redirection. It's your spirit rejecting every counterfeit purpose because it knows the authentic one is still waiting to be claimed. You think all those false starts were failures. You think your inability to stick with things that didn't fit was weakness. But let me reframe your reality right now. That was not inconsistency. That was discernment. Every door that closed, every opportunity you walked away from, every time you quit something that felt wrong, that wasn't failure. That was your spirit protecting your assignment from contamination. God has been clearing the path to your singular purpose by making everything else feel impossible. The one thing He placed in you before you were born hasn't left. It's been waiting. And the reason you found this message today is because the waiting is over. Your assignment isn't complicated. People are. Your assignment is simple, pure, and so specifically designed for you that when you step into it, everything else will finally make sense. The confusion ends today. The searching stops here. Your singular assignment is about to be revealed, and when you hear it, you'll wonder how you ever lived without knowing it. But here's where it goes deeper than most people are willing to look, venturing into the shadowed corners of the human heart where true motives often hide. The reason you haven't stepped into your assignment yet isn't because you don't know what it is. That knowledge, however veiled, often flickers somewhere within your spirit. No, the deeper truth is that you've been afraid of how profoundly simple it actually is. You've been intricately complicating it, building towering mental fortresses of prerequisites and qualifications, because simple feels too vulnerable, too exposed, too much like it could utterly fail or be dismissed. We've been conditioned to believe that anything truly valuable must be arduous, complex, shrouded in mystery, and require immense struggle to achieve. This societal programming makes us distrust the ease of divine flow, mistaking effortless grace for a lack of depth or significance. We fear that if it's simple, it can be easily taken away, easily broken, easily overlooked, leaving us naked and without the elaborate defenses we've painstakingly constructed around our potential. This fear is a silent saboteur, convincing us that the grander the calling, the more intricate the path must be. Think about David standing in front of Goliath. The entire Israelite army, mighty warriors with seasoned battle experience, was paralyzed by fear, their armor heavy with the weight of worldly strategy. Everyone around him was strategizing with armor and weapons and military tactics, conventional wisdom dictating a clash of titans with sophisticated weaponry. They were caught in the web of complexity, calculating odds, measuring Goliath's height against their own vulnerability. But David, a mere shepherd boy, moved by a different spirit, perceived a truth beyond their tactical analyses. His assignment was so pure, so singular, so distilled to its divine essence that he only needed three things: a smooth stone from the brook, a shepherd's sling, and most crucially, the profound understanding that this giant was already defeated in the spiritual realm. The complexity, the endless strategic debates, the layers of protective gear and fear-driven calculations were all manifestations of everyone else's doubt and limited perspective. The simplicity, the unburdened directness of faith was in heaven's preordained plan, a plan that saw the victory before the battle even began, requiring only a willing vessel to manifest it. David understood that the battle was not physical, but spiritual, and the outcome had already been determined in the courts of heaven. His act was merely the earthly echo of a divine decree. Your assignment has that same divine simplicity, an inherent clarity that often eludes our overthinking minds. It's not hidden because it's complicated, requiring an advanced degree in spiritual deciphering. No, it's hidden because you've been looking for it in the wrong places, like searching for a priceless gem in a dusty accounting ledger. You've been meticulously checking your resume, itemizing your acquired skills, certifications, and past achievements, believing these external markers define your worthiness or capability. Meanwhile, you should have been checking your heart, the true compass and repository of your deepest spiritual promptings and divine blueprints. You've been asking what you're qualified for, seeking external validation and logical pathways, when you should have been asking what makes you weep with profound compassion, a visceral empathy that connects you to the suffering of the world, or what makes you burn with a holy, righteous anger, a divine indignation that refuses to accept injustice and yearns for restoration. These raw, unfiltered emotional responses are not weaknesses. They are the most potent indicators of your divinely imbued assignment, signposts planted deeply within your soul by the Creator himself. And this brings us to something most people miss entirely, a fundamental truth obscured by the clamor of external achievement. Your assignment isn't just about what you do, the actions, the projects, the tangible outcomes that can be measured and applauded. Crucially, it's about who you become while you're doing it, the profound internal alchemy that refines your spirit and shapes your character. The enemy, ever the deceiver, has been tirelessly trying to convince you that your purpose is a static, finite identifier, a specific job title, a successful business venture, a prominent ministry position, a desired relationship status, or any other external benchmark. But these, however meaningful they may seem, are merely the containers, the temporary vessels that hold the true essence of your calling. Your assignment, in its deepest sense, is the ongoing, transformative metamorphosis that happens to you as you walk it out, the stripping away of false selves, the strengthening of your inner being, the deepening of your empathy, and the expansion of your capacity for love and service. And it is also the transformation that happens through you, as your evolving self becomes an increasingly clear conduit for divine grace and impact in the world. It's a journey of becoming, not just achieving. Coming up in just a moment, I'm going to reveal the one question, a deceptively simple yet profoundly powerful query that has the potential to expose your assignment immediately, stripping away the layers of confusion and doubt. But first, before we dive into that illuminating question, you need to understand the subtle, often unrecognized reasons why you've been resisting the very thing you've been praying for, the answers to your deepest longings that are closer than you realize. This resistance is often rooted in a misunderstanding of how divine guidance truly operates, mistaking a quiet whisper for a lack of validation. There's a persistent, often subtle voice you've been listening to, a beguiling whisper that sounds remarkably like wisdom, wrapped in spiritual terminology and pious platitudes. But if you peer closely, you'll discern its true origin. It's actually fear, cunningly dressed up in spiritual language, a wolf in sheep's clothing within the chambers of your mind. It tells you to wait for more confirmation, as if God's initial prompting wasn't quite enough, demanding a constellation of signs before you take a single step. It tells you to prepare longer, endlessly stockpiling knowledge and skills, creating an illusion of readiness that only serves to delay action, an endless rehearsal without ever stepping onto the stage. It whispers that if it were really from God, it would feel more supernatural, more dramatic, more like the breathtaking cinematic testimonies you hear from other people. The miraculous breakthroughs, the thunderous pronouncements, the sudden, undeniable shifts. It seeks to make your unique path conform to a pre-approved narrative, rather than trusting the authentic, often quieter way God speaks to you. This counterfeit wisdom, a subtle venom injected into your spirit, has been relentlessly whispering that your assignment should overwhelm you with its sheer magnitude, making you feel completely, unequivocally unqualified, a tiny boat facing an ocean. It suggests that walking into it should feel like leaping off a precipice into an unknown abyss, a dramatic, fear-inducing act of faith. But biblical purpose, the true unveiling of divine calling, doesn't usually announce itself with the clamor of thunder and lightning, shaking the very foundations of your world in a sudden, undeniable spectacle. More often than not, it whispers like a gentle breeze, a soft, persistent breath across the landscape of your soul, to a heart that has finally become quiet enough to listen amidst the relentless noise of the world. It's an invitation, not a command shouted from the heavens. The enemy wants you to feel that unless it's a monumental, ego-gratifying endeavor, it's not truly from God. Remember vividly that profound moment when the prophet Elijah, after a triumph on Mount Carmel, found himself in a cave on Mount Horeb, desperately seeking the presence of God amidst a devastating spiritual burnout. He was looking for God in the powerful earthquake, the earth-shattering tremor that ripped through the mountains, then in the consuming fire, a blaze that devoured all in its path, and then in the mighty wind, a tempest so fierce it tore apart rocks. But God was not in any of these dramatic, overwhelming displays of raw power. No, God was in the still, small voice, a gentle whisper that spoke directly to Elijah's weary soul. Your assignment, your divine mandate, has been speaking to you in that very same still, small voice, often drowned out by the internal clamor of your anxieties and the external cacophony of worldly expectations, while you've been patiently, perhaps even frantically, waiting for the earthquake, the fire, or the mighty wind to announce its arrival. You've been conditioned to expect grandeur, missing the quiet intimacy of divine revelation. Here's what that still, small voice, the quiet promptings of your spirit and the gentle nudges of the Holy Spirit, has been persistently saying to you while you've been distracted by all the noise around you, the endless scroll of social media, the competing demands of daily life, the opinions of others, and your own internal critical dialogues. It's been subtly, persistently pointing to the thing that breaks your heart every single time you witness it going wrong in the world, a deep ache in your soul that resonates with injustice or suffering. It's been highlighting the specific type of conversation you always find yourself having with people who are struggling, instinctively offering comfort, insight, or a path forward. It's been drawing your unwavering attention to the problem you can't stop thinking about, the injustice that makes your righteous anger burn with a holy fire, the desperate need that compels you, almost against your will, to do something about it, to intervene, to alleviate, to heal. These aren't random thoughts or passing emotions. They are divine breadcrumbs leading you home to your purpose. But if you're truly honest with yourself, if you allow yourself to lay bare your deepest reservations, you've been dismissing these precious promptings, these quiet nudges of destiny, precisely because they feel too ordinary, too much like something you'd naturally gravitate towards anyway. You've been programmed to believe that a divine assignment must feel burdensome, uncomfortable, or require a complete overhaul of your personality. You've been holding out, perhaps unconsciously, for an assignment that feels utterly foreign to who you perceive yourself to be, something spectacularly supernatural and dramatically demanding, like being called to walk on water or part a sea. You've been looking for God to completely reinvent you, to give you a brand new identity and an entirely different set of skills, instead of realizing with liberating clarity that He wants to activate, empower, and unleash what He already meticulously placed inside you at creation. He doesn't need to craft a new you. He simply needs to awaken the true you. The assignment you've been so diligently, often fruitlessly searching for, is precisely the thing that feels so natural to you, so intrinsically woven into the fabric of your being, that you almost don't believe it counts as a calling. It's the inherent ability, the unique insight, the compassionate presence that people always, almost instinctively come to you for, sensing a quiet strength or an undeniable wisdom within you. It's the problem you solve for others, often effortlessly, without even consciously trying, seeing solutions where others see only impenetrable obstacles. It's the gift that operates so easily, so fluidly, so powerfully through you that you mistakenly assume everyone can do it, minimizing its significance because it requires little to no exertion on your part, feeling like breathing rather than striving. This ease, this natural flow, is not a sign of triviality, but rather an indicator of divine alignment, a signature of heaven's design. What most people tragically don't realize, often spending years toiling in jobs that drain their spirit, is that your assignment doesn't feel like strenuous work when you're truly walking in it. It feels like coming home to yourself, a deep sigh of relief as all the pieces of your being finally click into place. It feels like the very reason you were created, the unique spark of divine intention within you, finally has the expansive room to breathe, to expand, to truly live. Every single experience you've been through, every skill you've painstakingly developed, every relationship you've carefully built, every profound mistake you've made and courageously recovered from, every single thread of your life's tapestry has been meticulously and divinely preparing you for this singular focus, this precise point of impact. Nothing has been wasted. Every twist and turn was a lesson, a shaping, a sharpening for the sacred work awaiting you. And once that profound realization clicks into place, once the light bulb truly illuminates within your spirit, everything begins to shift, subtly yet powerfully. The pervasive restlessness, that deep-seated unease that often accompanies a life unfulfilled, stops because you're no longer frantically searching for meaning outside of yourself. The debilitating confusion clears, dissolving like morning mist, because you're no longer desperately trying to fit into ill-fitting spaces or roles that were never authentically designed for the unique contours of your soul. Even the painful delays, the detours, the seasons of waiting that once felt like punishment or stagnation suddenly make profound sense. You can look back and see with crystal clarity how each perceived setback, each unexpected diversion, each moment of quiet introspection or intense challenge taught you something absolutely essential, imparting a crucial piece of wisdom or a vital skill for what you are now about to bravely step into. The scattered fragments of your life coalesce into a cohesive, divinely ordered narrative. But wait, before you charge forward, propelled by this new clarity, you need to see this next part with unwavering focus, understanding its insidious nature. There's been a very specific, deeply cunning strategy working against you, subtly undermining your progress that I need to fully expose and bring into the light right now. The enemy hasn't just been passively hiding your assignment from you, obscuring its path with confusion and doubt. Far more insidiously, he has been actively making you feel profoundly guilty for even wanting it, for daring to aspire to a purpose that brings you joy and makes a difference. This is a masterful psychological and spiritual tactic designed to keep you small and silenced. Every single time your heart has stirred with a quiet longing, every whisper of inspiration toward your true purpose, that accusatory voice, a skilled master of manipulation, has immediately sprung into action, launching its barrage of condemnations. It's told you that wanting to make a tangible difference in the world, desiring to leave a positive imprint, is nothing but naked pride, a manifestation of an inflated ego. It has whispered that believing you have something unique, something intrinsically valuable to offer, is sheer arrogance, an unholy self-aggrandizement. It has relentlessly suggested that stepping into your calling, embracing your divine mandate, means you inherently think you're better than everyone else, elevating yourself above the common lot. These accusations are designed to shame you into retreating, to make you believe that your light is a burden, not a gift. This, my friends, is arguably the most insidious, the most diabolical attack on purpose I have ever witnessed in the spiritual battlefield. The enemy has taken the sacred virtue of humility, a cornerstone of spiritual growth, and weaponized it with chilling precision to keep chosen ones, those specifically appointed and anointed by God, from choosing themselves and stepping into their divine destiny. He's masterfully turned your reverence for God, your sincere desire to honor Him and remain lowly in spirit, into a twisted reason to diminish and suppress the very gifts and anointing that God so lovingly placed inside you. He has cunningly made you feel selfish, even spiritually impure, for wanting to operate freely and powerfully in your God-given gifts, talents and callings, creating a false dichotomy between serving God and serving through your authentic self. This is a profound deception, masquerading as spiritual piety. But let me challenge you with something that might sound radically backward, even counterintuitive at first glance, something that redefines the very essence of divine purpose. Your assignment isn't just for the people you're going to serve, for the needs you'll meet, or the problems you'll solve for others, though these are undeniably glorious outcomes. No, at its core, your assignment is profoundly, divinely for you. God, in His infinite wisdom and boundless love, didn't give you a purpose solely as a burdensome obligation for the benefit of others, expecting you to be a perpetual sacrifice. He gave you a purpose, a unique design, because walking in it, expressing the fullness of who He created you to be, is precisely how you experience His profound pleasure, His overflowing joy, His deep satisfaction with His own magnificent creation, which is you. You are a masterpiece, and He delights in seeing you live out your intended design. When you bravely step into your singular divine assignment, embracing its inherent simplicity and profound impact, you're not just blessing other people with your gifts and service. You are, in a deeper, more profound sense, becoming the truest, most authentic, most glorious version of yourself, the very embodiment of who God envisioned when He crafted you. And in that becoming, in that radiant authenticity, you bring God the most profound joy. You are living as the living, breathing solution He meticulously designed you to be for a specific problem in the world. You are actively, beautifully proving to the cosmos that His workmanship, His creative act in fashioning you, is indeed good, flawlessly executed, and deeply intentional. You are demonstrating that His plans are perfect, unfolding with divine precision, and that His choice to create you, with your unique constellation of gifts and passions, was not merely an accident of existence, but an intentional, beautiful, and purposeful act of creation, validating His artistry. And just when you think you've grasped this profound truth, understood the layers of divine design and spiritual warfare, there's one more, even deeper layer that needs to be courageously uncovered, a truth that often remains unspoken. The real, underlying reason you've been avoiding your assignment, procrastinating, or even actively resisting it isn't primarily a fear of failure, though that often plays its part. It's something far more terrifying to the ego and the comfortable self. It's the profound, unsettling fear of success. It's the terrifying, almost paralyzing possibility that you might actually, truly step into everything you were divinely created to be, that you might actualize your fullest potential and truly live in alignment with heaven's blueprint for your life. And then, what excuse will you possibly have left for not being happy? What justification will remain for your dissatisfaction, your restlessness, your unfulfilled longings, once you are fully inhabiting your purpose? Right now, in your current state of seeking or hesitation, you have a convenient, albeit often unconscious, shield. You can comfortably blame your deep-seated dissatisfaction on not yet knowing your purpose, attributing your internal malaise to an undiscovered path. You can justify your restlessness, that pervasive inner agitation, on not being in the right position yet, believing that an external shift will magically resolve your internal struggles. But once you commit and step into your assignment, once you are actively walking in the very thing God meticulously created you specifically to do, once the excuses fall away and the divine blueprint is clearly unfolding, then a powerful shift occurs. Your joy, your deep spiritual fulfillment, becomes entirely your responsibility, no longer something to be found, but something to be cultivated. Your fulfillment transforms from an elusive pursuit into a deliberate choice you make each day. Your alignment with heaven, your spiritual connection and resonance, becomes a conscious daily decision, a continuous act of surrender and embrace. This responsibility, while liberating, can also be profoundly intimidating. Coming up, get ready, because I am about to unveil the one question that changes absolutely everything. A question so direct and potent, it can shatter years of confusion and open floodgates of clarity. Stay with me, because this is the pivotal moment, the precise juncture where everything breaks open, where the old paradigm crumbles and your true path emerges into the light. This is not just information. This is revelation for your soul. This is truly where the real transformation begins, not with a complicated formula or an arduous spiritual exercise, but with a question so deceptively simple that most people, seeking complexity, skip right past it, dismissing it as too obvious. But when you summon the courage to answer it honestly, when you strip away the layers of pretense and stop filtering your response through what you think sounds spiritual, impressive, or acceptable to others, your assignment, your divinely ordained purpose, will rise to the surface like pure, undeniable oil on water, impossible to suppress or conceal, separating itself from the murky depths of doubt and confusion. It will emerge with an undeniable clarity, revealing itself not as something you achieve, but something you already are. Here's the question, presented in its raw, unfiltered power. What problem in the world, in this vast tapestry of human experience, makes you so angry or heartbroken that you can't help but tirelessly imagine a solution? It's not about superficial annoyance, but a deep, visceral response that penetrates your very core. Notice what this question does not ask. It doesn't ask what gifts you intellectually believe you have or what skills you've been told you excel at. It doesn't ask what you're merely good at, for many are good at things that don't ignite their soul. It certainly doesn't ask what other people tell you you should do, for external voices often project their own unfulfilled desires. Instead, it pierces through all those external layers, going straight to the core. What specific problem, what gaping wound in the fabric of humanity or the earth breaks your heart with such profound empathy, or makes your righteous anger burn so intensely, so unquenchably hot, that you literally lose sleep thinking about it, consumed by the longing for a different reality? This is the divine compass pointing inward, because that, precisely that place of holy discontent and profound compassion, is where your assignment truly lives, pulsating with life and urgency. It resides in that sacred place where your heart breaks in resonant harmony for what profoundly breaks heaven's heart, connecting your individual pain to the cosmic suffering and the divine desire for restoration. It lives in that visionary space where you vividly see what could be, a radiant alternative, instead of merely accepting what is the current broken reality. And it thrives in that indomitable place where your spirit, infused with divine resolve, utterly refuses to accept that things have to stay the way they are, where stagnation is not an option and change is an imperative. Your assignment is not a distant star. It's a burning ember within your chest, waiting for the oxygen of your action. Your assignment, therefore, isn't a separate entity, disconnected from your deepest emotional landscape or your personal experience of suffering. On the contrary, it is intrinsically, inextricably linked to your heartbreak. It is the healing response to your heartbreak, the balm applied to the wound you perceive in the world, and by extension, often within yourself. It is the very solution your spirit has been quietly, persistently carrying, a precious seed of potential for the problem your heart, stirred by divine love, steadfastly refuses to ignore or grow accustomed to. This problem isn't a burden, it's a profound invitation, a sacred trust. And here's what most people, steeped in a culture that often pathologizes strong emotion, don't realize about these intense feelings. God didn't give you that particular heartbreak, that gnawing sense of injustice or deep compassion, to torture you, to inflict needless suffering upon your soul. He gave it to you, precisely and intentionally, to guide you, to serve as an internal compass pointing toward your divine purpose. That relentless thing that keeps you wide awake at 3 a.m., not with anxiety about your own life, but with an unshakable conviction, passionately thinking about how it could be different, how it could be better, how someone should do something about it. That profound restlessness is not mere anxiety, a chaotic swirl of worry. That, my friend, is assignment calling your name, a divine summons echoing in the quiet hours of the night, a clarion call to action and transformation. It's an awakening, not a curse. But let me challenge you with something most people instinctively avoid hearing, a truth that cuts through the comfort of external validation and perceived safety. The real reason you haven't stepped into your assignment yet isn't because you're not fully ready, not sufficiently equipped, or lacking some crucial piece of information. No. The deeper, more unsettling truth is that you've been waiting, perhaps unconsciously, for explicit permission from people who, despite their love or influence, possess absolutely no divine authority to give it to you. You've placed the key to your destiny in the hands of others who cannot, by their very nature, unlock it. You've been patiently, perhaps even agonizingly, waiting for your family to fully understand it, to validate your unconventional dreams and bless your departure from familiar paths. You've been waiting for your friends to enthusiastically celebrate it, to shower you with affirmation and encouragement, fearing their judgment or lack of support. You've been waiting for the perfect mentor, a wise, authoritative figure, to unequivocally validate your calling, to bestow upon you their stamp of approval. And most insidiously, you've been waiting for circumstances to align so flawlessly, so perfectly, that stepping forward feels entirely safe, guaranteed against all risk, and free from any possibility of discomfort or opposition. This waiting is a form of spiritual paralysis, a deferral of your own power. But biblical assignment, in its raw, potent truth, doesn't operate on human timetables or wait for human approval or ideal conditions. It demands audacious faith and immediate obedience. Moses, trembling before the burning bush, didn't poll the Israelites, soliciting their consent or opinions, before he courageously went to Pharaoh, confronting the might of an empire. David, fueled by righteous indignation, didn't ask permission from King Saul or the terrified Israelite commanders before he bravely stepped toward Goliath, a seemingly insurmountable foe. And Mary, a humble young woman, didn't convene a committee of elders or seek public consensus before she courageously said her radical, world-altering yes to carrying the Messiah, embracing a divine calling that defied all societal norms and personal expectations. These are not examples of careful calculation, but of profound, immediate spiritual alignment. Your assignment is not a democratic process. It is an intimate, sacred covenant between you and the one who assigned it, the very Creator who breathed life into your unique being. Every single day you choose to wait for validation, for a nod of approval from people who simply do not carry your unique burden, who cannot possibly comprehend the depth of your calling, is another day the solution they desperately need, the healing, the insight. The transformation you are designed to bring remains tragically locked inside you, held captive by your hesitation. It's like having the cure for a widespread illness and refusing to dispense it until you get a consensus from those who are suffering. And yet, there's something even deeper, something beneath even that profound truth of waiting for permission that needs to be courageously exposed and confronted. Deep down, if you're willing to peel back all the layers of self-deception and be completely, brutally honest with yourself, you're not truly afraid of what people will think about your assignment, their fleeting opinions or potential criticisms. That's a surface fear. No, the more profound, more unsettling fear is what you'll inevitably discover about yourself when you finally commit to it fully, when you give yourself over to your divine purpose without reservation. You're afraid you'll discover that you're actually capable of far more than you ever dared to imagine, that you are indeed a conduit for divine power, a vessel of profound change, and that the limiting story you've told yourself for so long was merely a shadow veiling your inherent magnificence, a comfortable prison built by your own doubt. You're afraid you'll discover your own limitless potential, and that realization carries with it the awesome responsibility of fully living it. If you've been wrestling with identifying your unique assignment, feeling lost in the noise, or questioning if you're truly hearing the voice of God in your life, I want to offer you a powerful resource. I've created a comprehensive ebook that guides you through a profound process of spiritual discernment, helping you cut through the confusion and pinpoint your divine purpose with clarity and confidence. This ebook is designed to equip you with the tools and insights you need to recognize the still, small voice, dismantle fear-based resistance, and courageously step into the assignment God has prepared specifically for you. It contains practical exercises, deep spiritual reflections, and actionable steps to help you align your life with heaven's plan. Don't let another day pass in uncertainty. Your purpose is too vital, and the world is waiting for you to unleash your God-given potential. Download your copy now and begin your journey home to your assignment.